Yeah. No, that's good, because you're seeing a lot of people, we've seen it a lot with the zone 2 movement in terms of, 80% zone 2 and then 20%,
Yeah.
hard effort in terms of how you manage your week in a sense. But what does a normal week look for you, and how would you say that would correlate to, say, an amateur cyclist in terms of if they're looking at, cycling faster, recovering quicker? Obviously they've got commitments like work and job and family,
Yeah.
haven't got the time to train full time like like yourself. But what would their, in comparison to what you do, highlight what you do first, and then just how would, what would the best bits you could take from your experience in terms of improving into someone who has more commitments? What would your advice be?
Yeah. Well, firstly, in the UK especially, we don't separate continental riders or top level elite riders from guys which are working a full-time job. So the guys, in my opinion, that have the strongest mindset, the strongest drive, and who probably train the best are guys that are fitting it around a 40-hour a week, 50-hour a week job and a family life. It's quite astonishing because they're turning up to these races as well, and they're not even racing people that are equal in terms of opportunity. There could be a continental team turn up or two, and suddenly you're racing against two pro teams with your full-time job, but you've made so many sacrifices training wise. So mentally, like, you've got to be super strong to do that. Again, me being an hours person, it's normally this time of year, I'd just be finding my sort of endurance again. And I've been using Zwift racing as my training for high intensity for a couple of years now. And I found that really beneficial in the winter, from a safety point of view and also convenience and everything else. So I really enjoy it because it's social too, breaks up the monotony of riding. It's kind of quite difficult to pick out what it would be like for a normal week, because no 2 months or 2 weeks are normally the same. Hours per year for me is between 850 and 1,000 hours of riding. Most of that, if you look at the 3-zone model, will be in that first zone, which is active recovery, and your zone 2 endurance zone. I've got a huge endurance zone and a huge tempo zone, so I can ride at tempo for a long time, and the numbers really is quite high. But as soon as I go over threshold or over VO2 max, anaerobically I'm not so good. So you see the power drop off quite a lot when you go over sort of 5 or under sort of 5 minutes or so. So I'm very much an aerobic rider. So
yeah,